their gays, fruit flies, and allies. Welcome to this live stream extravaganza. I'm Barrett Laurie, and welcome to my channel. Before we get into the live stream event, we're gonna take care of a little bit of channel maintenance. Here's what this channel is all about, just in case you're new here. We talk about three things: books, reading and writing them, butt stuff. Don't get sick and twisted. I'm talking about Crohn's disease and chronic illness. We like to have a little fun with our gay agenda videos and the Fantasy Fairy Book Club. If any of that sounds of interest to you, you're gonna wanna click that subscribe button and ding the bell. The bell gives you notifications every time I upload new content to the channel, which is 2 times like clockwork every single week.
Although I am a world famous international hand model, I know, stunning, I know.
I can't read your mind, so if you enjoy the content, you will have to click the like button and leave me a comment below in order for me to know that you enjoy this content and I should make more like it. That's how it works. If you're not already, head over to the socials and give me a follow at Barrett_Laurie at Twitter and Instagram. If you're not following me, what are you doing with your life? Get over on the socials, interact with me about books, butt stuff. I look forward to chatting with you and engaging with you on the platforms. All right, without further ado, let's get on to the interview. Ooh, that was a rhyme. That was punny. Kind of punny. Or was it punny? I don't know if it was punny. It's definitely a rhyme. Hi, Aphrodite Lee. You're still muted.
Sorry. Am I okay now?
Yeah, you're back.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Barrett.
How are you?
Nervous?
Oh, see, there's no reason to be nervous. We're just having a little chat. So, hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. So I was just telling Aphrodite the breakdown of how tonight is going to go. So I'm going to give a quick recap of that for everybody else. So if you're new here, thanks for stopping by. I'm Barrett Laurie. This is Aphrodite Lee. We're going to have a chat about her books, her writing process. She's worked in film, so we're going to show a little clip from a short film of hers and discuss that. But we have a lot of fun things for you. This is the breakdown of the 2 hours we have together. The first hour will be all me, where I ask my questions that I prepared for in advance, and we'll work through. The end of that little session, probably the last 5-6 minutes, will be rapid fire 1-word answer questions. Just kind of get to know you. And for someone who I love and know to be a bit of a talker, I thought, well, how can I challenge her? And that will be 1-word or 2-word answers. So
I'm going to fail that challenge.
You're going to be just fine. Then the second half will be all questions from you guys in the live chat who have anything you want to know from Miss Lee. And we will talk, she'll answer, I guess, all your questions in the back half that she wants to answer. If you have some nasty stuff, then that's probably going to so first, we're going to say hey to everybody that showed up for us. Hi, Cat Fly. She has a book in about 10 days.
I know.
So that's pretty
I love her.
Right? Novel Nana. Hi, how are you? We love ya.
Becky.
Look who showed.
Twin number 1.
Right, Stewie. Colin Clark, who I think was over on Ken John's writing session that was just, I think it just ended. I started it a little bit ago, and then I think they just wrapped up. They're writing short fiction once a week while drinking, and it's a lot of fun.
Colin visits my streams all the time.
So you know Colin, well, he is here for you, showing you love. Okay, is there anybody else I am forgetting? Uh-oh.
There's the other twin.
That's right. So, okay, everybody's here. Hi, everybody. So we are going to, oh, Kat says she loves you too. All right, I am going to not ignore you all, but I'm going to work through our little session now, the first half being mine, and we're going to put all of your questions for Aphrodite Lee in the comments. If you have questions as we go, pop them there. We're going to pull them up and ask them in the back half. Are you ready?
No.
Yes. That's the wrong answer entirely. Okay, so you're ready. Here we go. Aphrodite Lee, past, present, and future. We're going to start first with the past. So give us a brief overview of where you're from and where you grew up.
Okay, I'm from Baltimore, and I was born and raised in Baltimore. Love Baltimore, by the way. I know it gets a lot of hits from the rest of the country, but if you don't live here, you don't know the whole picture. I grew up, well, technically, I grew up in a really, really poorest part of Baltimore that you could live in because it was the projects. Mm-hmm. but it wasn't. My family wasn't poor. We were just Black.
Yeah.
So the money that my parents could have afforded them to live anywhere else, but they weren't really allowed. And in that time, they could get people could get away with not letting them in. So we lived in the projects. Um, I went to like the best schools, like the best schools that money could buy.
I know that part of your history, so tell me a little bit about your journey to schools. And the reason that's important, which we kind of forgot, let's pause real quick. So I said you're Aphrodite Lee, but give a quick shout out at the beginning of where people can find you. We're going to talk about it several times throughout.
Oh yeah,
But
you can find me everywhere. I have a Patreon account, which it's like my playground. I have a lot of fun there. Love my patrons. I get to do stuff with them that I don't do outside of like on the YouTubes and stuff like that. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. I have a website. My publishing website is up. Where else? You can find me on Twitch. That's my new thing.
I'm not down with the Twitch yet. I'm trying to figure
Oh,
it out.
it's going to take me a second to catch up, but
Yeah,
I'm
not
there. I'm just not.
You're
there.
doing it. I'm just not there yet.
Yeah, it's going to be a minute. But my sole purpose for Twitch is still the same thing as what we're doing now. And that is to do streams and to do writing little workshops and such.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it on Twitch and on YouTube simultaneously. Because they're different. You'll just reach different people.
Yeah.
And I want to reach as many people as I can.
We're flashing her YouTube channel now so you guys can see it, so you know what you're looking for when you're out there. And the other thing we need to talk about is you have a book on sale right now, which we're going to talk about throughout the interview. But real quick, I'm going to pop up for everybody where they can find that. And all of the links for each of the things I'm showing you should be in the description box below. So if you want to buy Aphrodite's book, Shattered, it is currently available over on the Amazon, as well as some other places. But all of the links below for every one of her social media accounts. Kindle, what?
Because it was on Kindle and paperback.
Yeah, Kindle, paperback. So Aphrodite Lee, Shattered. Be sure and check all of the links below for how you can find her work. Okay, so sorry, I told you only one of us could screw it up, and it ended up being me. So forgot to tell who you were before we jumped into the talky talk.
It is not screwed up.
Okay, so the reason that we stopped at that point was you went to a very elite private school, which I think colored some of the story for, or at least as a reader, it seems to, and knowing you personally, I think that it colored some of the story for Shattered. So can you tell us a little bit about your experience in private school and how that might have impacted your writing?
Yeah, for Shattered, what I did as the backdrop of the story for it, I took all the things that I loved about being in school. I loved private school. I loved I loved how they were set up. I loved how the classes were. I loved everything about it, just about except students. Students, that was a little harder.
So how did the students impact the characters in Shattered?
For Shattered,
are any inserts? Now I know the answer to this because I've asked you before. But
I am a part of all those characters, a big part of all those characters. But I want to be really clear, it isn't about me. The story isn't about me. But I took instances that happened to me, that happened to my friends, that happened to other students that weren't my friends, and I amped them up to 1,000. So Shattered is heavily based on some jacked up crap, but some good stuff too. Again, the school itself, loved being at school. Now, the incidents that kind of happened to me that influenced Shattered didn't happen to me in high school, sadly. It happened to me in junior high school. But I didn't want to tell a story about me, like it was memoir-esque. I wanted to tell what's the best way to put it? I wanted to rewrite history. And I wanted to tell, for lack of a better term, something that ultimately came out to be a little better than what I got. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So if you're reading the book, you'll see stuff in the book that is really genuinely connected to my own school. Like, for instance, all of my teachers whom I loved, well, I use their names for the name, like the halls in the school. So you have like Nadongley Hall, and you'll have like, this hall, that hall. Those are all my real teachers' names. The glass corridor, which is a main part of the school, really existed in the school that I went to. That I can't tell you how much I love that school. But the story of Shattered didn't happen at that school.
It happened later.
It happened before. It happened in a different school.
Gotcha. Okay.
So what I did was I took all the beautiful things from that I could tolerate, because it's a hard story to tell and it's a heavy story to tell. So I had to make sure that I put stuff in it that I liked, that I loved, in order to be able to tell it. For instance, like the characters' names. I have a character who I absolutely hate. This character, his name is Barrett. He's just a horrible person. But I love the name Barrett. So I said, as long as I get to say something that I like, I can tolerate writing about him. You know what I mean? So I had that. I put that into the story. And he doesn't exist. He's somebody I totally made up. He's not based off of anyone or nothing like that. I just hate him. And then I took, I'm trying to think.
Well, let me ask you this. So would you say Shattered is the book that's the most closely related to your past? As far as like, did you draw the most on your past to create it compared to, because when we met, when I asked you, what do you write? Because we met because I'd read Shattered and reached out to you. So right. When I asked you, I said, what else do you write? You were like, I write fantasy. And I was like, so anyway, is that?
It's the only story, it's the only book period, because this is a trilogy. But it literally is the only book that has anything that's peppered from experiences that I genuinely know. That either I went through or I've seen or know about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So no, I am not a Leah. I would be more Orchid, in personality and all that other stuff, because
climbing up in the window and whatnot.
Well, no, not Pooey.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I got it.
Orchid, silent and deep.
Yeah.
She had a lot of stuff going on, but you didn't know it until she actually opened her mouth and said some things. Whereas, like, because people ask me all the time, are you a Leah? I'm like, no, I'd shot those kids. I wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes in 12th grade. Being a 17-year-old person going through that would not, no. You never met me, I'd be in jail.
Okay.
But that said, I gave her a lot of my physical craziness. Like, I made her an asthmatic because I knew what it's like to have asthma.
She had quite a few health problems coming into this.
Yeah, and I gave her a lot of my crap.
Yeah.
I gave her I gave her a lot of my physicality, period. I did not give her my personality though. Aaliyah, she's a little more stubborn than she should be. There's no reason whatsoever that she should have stayed in that school in the situation she stayed in, because she was so determined that she had to stay on this track. Me, I'd have jumped that track.
Oh yeah, I couldn't have done it. I wouldn't have made it past that
right.
that first week.
But,
so here's a question for you. So in the book, something that jumps off the page, especially like rereading it when I reread back in November when you did your live stream for your 1-year anniversary. The thing that I think jumped off the page at me was being that 2020 was what it was, especially with trying to discuss the inequities in publishing and often how Black voices haven't been as prominently out front as they should have been before, especially in their own stories. So in the book, in the first chapter, for those that haven't read it, there's what I consider to be a racist moment between Chase and the main character. So Aaliyah. So the question, I guess, for you is, when you're writing that, when I asked you about it, I think you said to me, oh, he's not racist, though. It was just like a one-off thing. But as a white person reading that section, I couldn't see him as any other way in that moment to throw that word at someone they don't know and have really never interacted with. Like,
Right.
that has to come from a dark place. So 2020 being what it was, being an author of color, like when you're writing that, is that something you're drawing from in your own personal experience? Did anyone ever call you that in school? Did anyone ever marginalize you in that way? And did that come from reality?
This was twofold. So where it came up from, where Chase said what he said,
yeah,
that was a hateful, horrible thing that happened to me in real life.
Mm.
And nothing is like that moment. Like, I'm Black. I don't tell everybody this in case you didn't know. I've heard that word my entire life. Like, heard it yesterday. But it's something really painful. That first time that someone says it to you, and you know that the intent is hate, just absolute hate. And I will never forget the first time it was said to me. And it was said to me from a person who meant nothing but harm. He wanted to hurt me. He wanted to mentally, physically, everything he could hurt me. And that's how he introduced himself to me, was with that word. And
what was your reaction?
Luckily, I cried.
Oh my
Because
God.
I was stunned. Like, I was stunned. Because again, it's not like someone hasn't said it to me. Oh, N-word, girl, blah, blah, blah,
Sure.
and whatever. That's
like gay people when we use the F word to each other sometimes, and then not.
Yeah, I mean, because you can say
that
word and not mean none of the hate that goes along with it.
Yeah.
Trust me, like, you can. And for people who say that you can't, you can. Yes, you can. But that wasn't there. His intent was really clear. He meant that for the true original definition of the word. And I was like shaking. I couldn't move. And fortunately, a girl came up behind me, basically the girl who is based after Orchid. She came behind me and she just grabbed me and she was like, come on, it's okay. Don't listen to him. Let's go. And I don't know what I would have done in that moment, because, I mean, I'm not easily caught off guard. This kid caught me off guard. So I wanted to put that line in the book. But remember when I said I wanted to change the story? I wanted to tell a better story. I wanted to tell a different story. The reason why I'm telling you that, when Chase said it to Aaliyah, because in Chase's heart, he thought that was the most disgusting thing he could say. And he was trying to throw her off. He didn't mean it the way he said it, but he wanted her to think he did. He wanted that. The reason why I did that is I would have given anything.
Because that's a nuance that I don't know that you could tell your reader, right? There's no way to signal that to your reader unless you're
and I didn't. I mean, this is spoilery. I didn't want the reader to get that any other way. I wanted the reader to get it the way Aaliyah got it. Like, oh my God, did he just say that?
Right.
Why am I here? I wanted the reader to get that because, like I said, if I could have, when it happened to me, if it could have just been not real, I would have given anything for that to not been real. I would have given anything for him to not meant it. I would have given anything to have misinterpreted it. Like, he couldn't mean that he hates you and he wants you to die kind of attitude. You're reading that wrong. But I wasn't. Absolutely was not. That boy tortured me for 2 years.
So is Chase at all a version of that kid?
Yes.
Interesting.
But Chase is a much better version of that kid.
Do you know where that kid is now?
I know exactly where he is.
Is he the trash train wreck that
Oh yeah. He tripled down.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
He tripled down.
Well, he's consistent. All right. Well, we're going to move into the present.
But Chase isn't him.
Yeah, right. But there's an inspiration there.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so I'll move on to a different topic. We're going to come back to Shattered over and over, but that jumped off the page at me when I reread it, was thinking about the year and just thought, I'm going to take the opportunity to ask, where that particular scene came from, because it felt real. It felt like it felt like something you had to have lived at some point, or a version of it. So thank you for being open about it. Okay, so let's talk about present. We were obviously just discussing Shattered. So as far as Shattered is concerned, it's a trilogy with a companion. Is that right? Planned companion. So what will be next from the Shattered universe?
Stage is next.
Okay.
And it's a funny story about that. Originally, the first book was supposed to be called Stained. The second book was supposed to be called Shattered. And I made a mistake when I was working with my original artist, and I gave her the titles out of order. So when she made the cover, it was Shattered on it. And I was like, oh no, that's wrong. It's going to be Stained because of the stained glass. And then I looked, I was like, wait a minute. That was a great mistake.
Yeah.
Because
I think it works.
It makes more sense that now this next generation is Stained. Because what was Shattering.
So explain that to folks out there who don't probably know, or maybe didn't catch any of those other live streams. So the plan for Stained is as a sequel, it's planned as a bit later of a sequel, right? Like it's not immediately following a continuation of the story from the day after.
No, I wanted to tell a series where each book was about a different girl, but in the same universe.
Yeah.
So you had Aaliyah. Well, technically the stories are about Aaliyah and Chase. So you had Aaliyah and Chase when they were teenagers. So I wanted to tell the next story about the next generation of teenagers. So when you get into Stained, even though the people from Shatter are still there, they're adults, and the concentration is now on the kids of those adults.
That's a cool idea.
All the madness because of all the lies and all the craziness that went on.
Yeah. So
you pick up with Aaliyah's daughter, and that's Darcy, named after her best friend Dar.
I have a t-shirt. I should have worn it.
Sorry. So she had a best friend Dar Ciccone, so she named her Darcy.
Yeah.
So Darcy.
So the story is from Darcy's point of view. It's her. This is her story.
It's her story, and it's a roller coaster of crazy, because now you have this child who doesn't really know all of her truths, but she's also not, what's the best way to put that? She's, you know how people are curious about their past and their parents' past? She isn't. She is happy. She is living her life. She is who she is. And she's got, I wouldn't be telling too much, but she's got great people in her world. She is just happy kid. And where things switch up is she meets this kid named Ryan.
Yeah.
And because Darcy isn't like a sweet kid. Like, she's kind of a bad kid. But the kind of bad that's like, oh, if I say, you have to be home at 12 and she'll come home at 2 kind of bad. Not out killing, driving, stealing cars bad. And her mom let her go away for a weekend against her mom wanting to do this. Let her go away for a weekend in Ocean City. That's a place in Maryland where the kids go. And because she knew it would be chaperoned. And Darcy went with her best friend, Bernadette. Not Bernadette, I changed her name because I gave it to the mom. She went with her best friend, and they went on this weekend, and she meets the kid, Ryan. Ryan, just sweet as he could be, gorgeous, the whole nine. And I guess I can tell this isn't a spoiler. She almost drowns, and Ryan saves her.
So the common theme I'm seeing is these girls so far are getting sidetracked by the men that want to come into their lives. Like, the boys that come and play with their lives are, in my world, we call them F-boys. I can't use that word here.
She would be too young for that to be him to be an F-boy. But I didn't want to paint her as this goody two-shoe innocent girl. She's not goody two-shoe by any stretch of the imagination. The reason why she fell in the pool to begin with was because she was drinking and, stuff like that. She's lucky this boy saw her fall. So, and then that's how they end up meeting. But because she's a real outgoing kid, when she gets home and she's like, Leah, you're not going to believe this. I met this met this kid, this guy, and he was just so gorgeous. And Aaliyah's like, okay, yeah, whatever. Because Aaliyah is still living in the PTSD zone of Shattered.
As anyone would. I mean,
So she's not.
No one goes through all that stuff and doesn't have a mental breakdown shortly thereafter. But
the sideways effed up telenovela part of it is when Ryan comes over, and Aaliyah sees Ryan, and she like almost faints because he looks like the carbon copy of Chase.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where problems come in, because she's like, what is this boy's last name? And Darcy's like, I don't know, Sofo, something like that. And the shit hits the fan.
As it would. So that's super exciting. When can I get my little grubby hands on it? My hand model hands.
It's so many things that I have to fix.
Okay.
Keep in mind, I wrote this story when I was a kid. So
people may not know that. So you wrote this story a long time ago. All three of them?
Mm-hmm.
And the companion, or just all three?
No, not the companion. The companion,
3 books.
Something I was mulling around in my head because I wanted to tell a story that was in the universe, but not about those kids.
So these were books that you had written and put in a drawer?
Pretty much.
And why? Did you ever try to like find a literary agent or anything with them back when you wrote them? Or was it just like for your own pleasure? Or like, where does that come from? To write
that is such a great question.
A lot of work.
When I was in college, I went to my writing instructor, and I was like, I want to start querying. I want to start doing this. I'm going to do all those things that you have to do. And he had written and published several books. And I'm like, this is what I need to do. This is what I have to do. And while I was working with him, because mainly I was talking along the lines of Shattered, and it wasn't called Shattered at the time. I was talking along the lines about Shattered, and he was like, it's going to be kind of hard to market that. And I'm like, why? And he didn't want to go like, well, no one wants a Black girl lead. No one wants basically it's an urban horror, gothic horror type stuff that you tone down so without the gore. No one's going to want to read the tragedies. People like happy endings. And he just went on and on. And I'm thinking, well, it can't be true. I read V.C. Andrews all the time. I'm practically V.C. Andrews, goddaughter. And he wasn't, I don't think he was trying to discourage me. I think he was trying to make me feel like they're not going to pay you any attention. You're not what they're looking for. And so when he said this to me, I decided, well, I'm going to still keep doing it, whether they're looking for me. Somebody has to like what I like. It can't just be me. And as time went on, the idea of being able to self-publish came into play.
Yeah. How long after that time?
Way after.
Okay.
I'm almost 60 years old, okay?
No.
So I'm in college
40 years. Secrets.
I'm in college 40 years ago, okay? So it was...
I wish we knew where that guy was now, because he sounds like the type that shouldn't have tenure anywhere.
But he wasn't wrong. And that's this part that was sad. He really wasn't wrong. He shouldn't have been trying to be discouraging though. But what he was saying to me was true. People weren't trying to really look for what I was putting out there. And believe it or not, and I know you read Shattered, so this may be hard to believe, it was a lot darker before. I've softened it.
Y'all, it's about as soft as an abrasive Brillo pad cleaning your bum in the shower.
And so, yeah.
I can't even imagine what it would have looked like. That would be very
it was
Okay, well, I'm gonna veer while we're still in my time before I give you back, because you're getting questions about Shattered, so we're gonna go back there. So while we're talking, let's talk about Huggin. Say the second word.
Beulah.
Beulah. Because I was thinking Beulah, but I think I was like trying to do something else with it that was happen. So, do you want me to show the clip and then talk about it? Or do you want to talk about it and then show the clip?
You can show the clip.
Okay. So, y'all get ready for a short film clip. Written and directed by, or written by?
Written and directed.
Okay, written and directed by yours truly, Aphrodite Lee. Sit back and enjoy Huggin' Beulah.
girl I was telling you about. My God, she is stunning. She's almost like a wood nymph.
Can we go?
Wonder what she's doing. I don't know, but I'm gonna go find out.
Oh my God. Why when that boy sees crazy, he runs right to it?
I don't know, but I have to see this. Excuse me.
Yes?
What are you doing?
Hugging Beulah here.
Beulah?
Yeah, or at least that's what she said her name was.
Of course. Excuse me.
Yes.
Why are you hugging Beulah, right?
Well, I was in chemistry,
A Hoffman?
unfortunately. And these silly little bitches started calling me names and shit.
Well, is that right?
Yeah, some really ignorant shit, you know?
Been there.
Then one of them called me a tree-hugging freak. I was just about to bang her in her mouth. Then I thought to myself, it's been a while since I've actually hugged a tree.
You don't say.
I do say. So I came out to the courtyard.
In the middle of Hoffman?
No big loss there. And Beulah called to me.
Trees used to talk to me too. And Emily got me pills and cleared that right up.
Come closer. What's your name?
Christopher. Yours?
Elizabeth.
It's fitting. Beautiful name for a beautiful person.
Person? Don't you mean tree-hugging freak? I don't know who Emily is, but you tell her tomorrow no more pills. Oh my God, please go get him.
No, this is too good.
I can't watch.
Hey, I have a wonderful tree at my house. I don't know her name, but maybe she'll tell you. Do you want to come over? Meet my friends?
Are those your friends over there?
Yeah, that's them.
Sure, they won't mind.
Are you kidding? My friends are the best. Come on. So this is Joshua.
Hi, Elizabeth.
And Janae.
Hi. I can tell we're gonna be really good friends. Oh, okay.
Ah, love it. All right, now I have to.
Say Janae was not feeling Elizabeth.
So, hugging Beulah. So, talk to me about it. So, first of all, I'm also seeing a theme, like tonight, of two different people being pulled together by their differences. So, okay, where did the story come from? I noticed also it's another story of a marginalized character that's just been picked on by some people, and the person that approaches her is a big, I'm assuming, a flamer like me, who says, oh, wait, I can go befriend her because I know what that feels like.
Yes, he's from the family of rainbows. I love Christopher.
So
And
I love
he insists on being called Christopher. If you call him Chris, he doesn't acknowledge it.
Okay, so tell us the story behind it. Give us the 411.
Well, I love that story so much. Okay, so what happened was what you saw was just a small, teeny tiny scene from a whole movie. And it was supposed to show how the three became four. So the three were really tight. So let me go back a little bit. You have Janae and Christopher, who are the closest. They've been friends the longest.
And Christopher is the gay character?
Christopher is the gay character.
Yeah.
Now, I put actors in this who were really good actors, but not actors who look like who the characters really are. So to give you an example, Elizabeth is Native American, like a Native American girl. Christopher is white and blonde hair, blue-eyed white. And it was important because he got picked on a lot about that because he was born and raised in Africa. He got brought back to the United States when he was 8 years old. And one of the few languages that he could speak was English. He couldn't speak it that well. He could speak 1,000 other languages, but English and I think it was Latin. English and Latin, he didn't know as much of. So when he meets Janae, who was also 8, they became fast friends because she was familiar to him from what he knew growing up in a school full of kids, again, who didn't look like her. So he was just happy. He just latched onto her. So basically how he learned to speak English was through this little black girl. They get to high school and then they meet Christopher. So the 3 of them were really tight friends. But then they're friends for a minute. And then this girl, this beautiful girl everybody keeps talking about that says she's a flake. And people are, they're outcasting her. And Christopher wants to know who she is. But as soon as, Joshua wants to know who she is. As soon as Christopher sees her, he's like, oh, she's going to be with us. I'm going to get her. And that was the scene when 3 became 4. So, and the whole book is called The Best of Friends.
Okay. I was about to ask. And is it a completed script that you have now?
It's a completed script.
Okay. Is this, so here you go, readers. I don't know if you knew this, but we're finding out tonight, breaking news. You are also writing scripts. So how many scripts have you written? What's your filmmaking background? Like, where do you want to go? Is this are you going to tell the whole story? What can we know?
Yeah, I've written, last count, like 197 feature-length scripts. Not quite 200, almost there.
Completed?
Completed.
I am the biggest schlub in this whole group of friends that we have of writer. I can maybe
I write a lot.
Okay.
But
right. I see I'm the least talented of the group. I'll keep.
Oh no, that doesn't make you the least talented. You're not least anything. You're amazing.
Oh, I'm teasing. Go ahead.
I write a lot.
That's a lot. So filmmaking. So what drew you to writing scripts, and what made you have the confidence to say I can go direct something? Because I can tell you, I would not have that kind of confidence. So where did that come from?
Back when, how old am I? When I was like 40, 45 years old, something like that. I decided that I was going to shop some of my screenplays because, like you said, I'm sitting on them in drawers. And I literally completed my first script when I was 17 years old. Completed. And I was like, well, I need to do something with these. And I found out through another friend that the Hollywoods were doing a pitch fest.
Yeah.
And you get to go out and pitch your stuff to people who could maybe make your stuff happen. Now, this is what's really funny. Now, with all that I know, I still don't know a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get out there and...
You actually go to LA?
I left here. Actually, I went to San Diego where the thing was going to be.
What about San Diego?
And they were talking about, this was so weird. They were saying like, oh, we're going to have this celebrity or that celebrity. And I'm not real celebrity minded. So I didn't know who was who. I didn't understand like, oh yeah, this person's coming. Until they said Will Smith, I knew Will Smith. But anyway, the point was to go get with the different agencies or whatever to pitch. So I'm there, barely any women of people of color.
I'm sure.
And I get there and I'm looking around at all these guys and they got these suitcases and they're all ready and they're sharp. And I'm there all hoochie-fied because my wardrobe leaves a lot to be desired. With nothing. I felt like we were pitching. We didn't have to do anything else. So I'm getting in the lines because you have to get in these lines. And people were looking at me and these guys were like, oh, you're pitching? And I'm like, yeah. And because I'm not shy, as you may know, but I'm still very introverted. So I don't like people around me. Mm-hmm. And so they said, well, yeah, is this your first year? I'm like, yeah, this is my first year. You know, but they said, oh, don't worry. Don't be disappointed because no one gets through in their first year and this, that, and the third and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
did you get through?
Huh?
Did you get through?
Oh, did I?
Ah.
So now I'm taking all this in, and I know that some of it is being snide, you know, but some of what they were saying was ringing true because I'm watching people get shot down. So I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Oh my God, just get through the first one. Just tell your damn story. You not any worse off, and you got a whole week's vacation. And
how long was the pitch? Like, how long are you given? Like,
they only gave you, oh shit, I forgot. It was like 5 minutes, something short.
Pretty good. Okay.
But it was good. Like, but I'm sitting there, so I'm watching people like, you know, leaving basically in tears. So I said to myself, that's okay. This gives you good practice.
Yep.
you really don't have anything to lose, because if they say no, you're still in the exact same place you were.
Right.
It's not like they took money from you.
That's right.
So I go over and I sit down, and the girl, she barely looks up, and she said, okay, what do you have? And I start my pitch, and she does this. This is what was so cool. She goes, and then she leans back in the chair. So I'm thinking, what did I do wrong? What did I say? Because I know I could be very inappropriate. And then she goes, tell me more. And now all the people who are waiting to get up to the table are saying her time is up, and she's still sitting at that fucking table.
Yeah.
What's going on? Because they can't hear.
Right.
So I told her more, and it was the best of friends. I told her first. And so she's like, okay, do you have anything else? And I got the whole Grinch smile. Because do I have anything else? I have hundreds of scripts. So I'm like, well, yeah, I have this one idea. And I told her that. And then she just started writing down. And she goes, okay, you're through. I'm like, I'm through what? She said, oh, no, you're going through. Go over there. So I'm like, okay. So I get up, and I'm still not sure what's happening to me. I get sent to the other side, not out the door. And I remember standing on the other side and looking at the guys who were still left, and they were like, that bitch got through? Like, how did that happen? And I'm saying, like, oh, wait a minute, this means I got through. So I had to go to another table.
It was like your Elle Woods moment.
It was so crazy. So I go to this other table. Now I'm scared because this is the Morgan Freeman table. I just left Kelsey Grammer. Kelsey Grammer was first. So I go to the Morgan Freeman table. And mind you, you don't get to choose. You get sent to where they think you need to go. Yeah. And apparently Kelsey Grammer was very, very interested in promoting Black women.
He didn't do it on a show, so
I didn't know that.
It's good for him to do it now.
Yeah, but then he turned out, like his shows, he's like the executive producer of a lot of shows like Girlfriends and stuff like that. So, but of course, I don't know that. So I'm sitting down, and I'm with the Morgan Freeman people and the guy, and I'm like, well, the story is this and this and the third and blah, 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 and la, la, la. And he's like, really? Tell me more. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I got passed to the 3 tables, which no one did. And I want to point that out, not as a brag, but as the fact that everyone told me I would get kicked out. Yeah, I was the only person who got to all 3 tables.
Yeah.
And then...
So what do you get at the end of the 3 tables? Like, what's the takeaway?
That's when you get all your leads and stuff, and the people say, we're contacting you. Here's your, here's my this, here's my that, here's the numbers, that kind of thing. We need you to go to this place, and we're going to talk to you here. That's when you get that. But what happened to me was at the 3rd tables, which is the long way around answering your question. I get to the 3rd table, and the girl, and it was a woman. She's like, okay, tell me this, and go on, and so. And she just kept asking me. So she said, well, what? She said, you haven't stopped yet. How many scripts do you have? I said, I have a lot. I didn't say the number. So I have a lot. So she says, where are you from? I said, Baltimore. And then she said, Baltimore, what are you doing here? I'm going to do you a favor. Go home. I'm like, huh? So go home, pick one of those, shoot it. Baltimore is the hub. Baltimore is turning into Hollywood Junior. Go home and shoot this, shop that. And I was like, well, how? And I was slowly losing my vision, and I don't know anything about cameras. And I'm thinking to myself, and she's like, nope, go home. So after, like, it was still a week's worth of stuff. So I really had some good stuff, and that's for another conversation. But I came home and I was thinking, why don't I shoot it? Well, you don't have a production company. You don't have this, and you don't have that, and the other thing. So what I did, it's the same thing I did when I lived in Hollywood. I walked up on sets, pretended like I was supposed to be there. Got a lot of films that way. Pretended like I was supposed to be there and offered my services for free so I can learn how to do things. And I finally got with a crew of people in Baltimore who were making films every month. Yeah. So I'm like,
that's the group that you sent that I
that's
saw.
The group. That's the offshoot of the group I'm in now.
Yeah. Which is what? Give them a shout.
Charm City Filmmakers.
There you go.
Now, the group that I worked with was on Mob Television.
Okay.
Great set of people. They let me come whenever they were doing a film. They know about all my disabilities. And they were like, yeah, hey, you know, Aphrodite, we're shooting so-and-so and such and such. You know, can you come? Will you be the scripty? And scripty is basically the person that makes sure that all the lines are said and keeping continuity. I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll do that. And will you come and be the darn boom holder? I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. It was nothing that they could think of that I wouldn't do. Will you do craft services? Are you kidding me? I got craft services, damn. Craft services is the people who take care of the food.
Right, right.
So I'm like, yeah, sure. So because I did that, one of the guys on my television says, you've been working with us and helping us for years. I'm going to help you get your film made.
That's amazing.
And that's how it came about. And then I thought,
this short was what? Is this like a way to get money people interested so you can raise funds to
this
shoot?
One wasn't. This
Okay.
one was, this one fell apart on so many levels. Like I said, the 4 actors that are in it are not the 4 actors who were supposed to be in it. I had to rewrite it a little bit to make it like college age and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
This was about kids.
Okay.
And just the laws in general about working with kids and stuff like that is a little harder to.
Oh yeah, it's more expensive.
Yeah, and you know, this was already going to cost me a pretty penny, which, by the way, Mob Television covered.
Okay.
I didn't come out of pocket with not with much, but and he didn't have to do that. Like that was like the sweetest thing ever because he believed in the story.
Yeah.
But he I forgot what part we were talking about.
Well, here's my question.
You're so excited about the film.
That's okay. So you've got the short. The short came out, did I see a year ago, 2 years ago?
The short, I believe I posted it in 2018.
2018. So first of all, the title of the full-length film will be
The Best of Friends.
The Best of Friends.
And it's about 3 friends who are like, and they're adults, and they're like kind of codependent upon each other after the loss of another friend who was Elizabeth.
You and the tragedies, like.
But this one isn't a tragedy, thank goodness, because they lost Elizabeth. Pretty much when you saw her when they met her at the tree.
Yes.
She died a few months later.
Well, don't give it away.
That's not a secret. No, it's not a secret. You know that in the beginning, Elizabeth is dead.
Oh, okay.
Stuff that's the secret is just what you don't know why. You know, that's
Okay.
like it literally starts off with those other 3. They're adults, and they have a business together. Well, that's better. They have like a nightclub that they own together, even though the 2 boys do work in other places. And part of it had to do with the fact that Elizabeth's dream was that they could run away. You know how kids are. They were 14, 15 years old. Yeah. We're going to run away, and we're going to start our own nightclub, and we're going to sing, and we're going to dance, and we're going to do all these things, right. And she's dead.
Yeah.
So they wanted to they still wanted her dreams to come true.
Sure. Okay. So when will you make this happen?
Oh, that's going to be a minute to make. Right now, the stuff that's getting shopped right now are my more episodic stuff.
Okay.
We want to hit like Netflix and stuff like that.
Yeah.
My next film is going to be on Amazon as soon as it gets edited. See, editing is hard for me because I can't see.
Right.
So
trying to find the right person. So
it's trying to find the right person to work with who has the time to fix, the edit is my only drawback.
Yeah.
So, but that'll be on Amazon Prime, at least for people to be able to see that.
And I will direct them to you when anybody on my channel that follows me, I'm sure I'll cover each of those things as you do them and promote them, just the way we're doing this right now. So I'm going to keep us on Taskmaster because I know you're windy, and I'm going to.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, you're doing fine. Minx Kenosha, tell the people about your naughty side and what they can expect from that naughty side this year.
Okay, Minx is a character. The reason why Minx exists, number one, is because I never had any intention of writing dirty stuff. And I have in my stories, there may be scenes that are on the pick sex, but they're not meant for erotic purposes. People have sex. I decided that I was going to tell a story. I'm trying to figure out how to not give away. There was a book that came out, you guys probably know about, called 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh,
And I hated it.
you're not
I
alone.
hated it for lots of reasons. The only thing I like about 50 Shades of Grey is I respect the author telling the story she wanted to tell. I'll never put an author down for saying what they wanted to say.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
She,
I shouldn't say I hate it. As I told you last night, my issue with it is we already had Twilight, so like Twilight for adults wasn't necessary. Like,
right,
it's not a romance. It wasn't necessary. It was
Right.
weird, and it was like a stalker novel. So okay, sorry.
but I made a joke. I'm just gonna say it. So I made a joke. I'm like, I can definitely write something better than that. And I'll call it, since she wants to be all fanny, I'll call it 50 Shades of Grayskull. And I'll write He-Man erotica.
Please do that. I have a group of gay men that will lose it over He-Man erotica. So sorry, viewers that are not gay men here for that. But
But it was
I've
funny.
got an audience for that when you're ready for that.
Right. Well, I'll let you see. So my friends were teasing me like, "Oh, that'd be so funny. You should do it." And so I started doing it. I got 3 chapters in. And mind you, it was supposed to be the campiest shit.
You have never told me you have He-Man fanfic. Do you really?
But wait, I got 3 chapters in. And again, it was supposed to be, I was as campy and as cheesy as I could be, because it's supposed to be funny and erotic. Okay. And as I was going through, because I'm me, I still have to do character bios and stuff like that, because I don't know who everybody is. And I had to fix this and figure out what I was going to do. And then I reread it and I was like, wait a minute, I kind of like this story. And it's against the law. I can't use He-Man and all them and make it that. So I was like, you know what? If I want to tell this story, I'm going to stop worrying about He-Man and all them. And now I'm going to write the story legit. And I'm going to take out the corny, campy stuff, leave all the crazy sex, because it is, and move forward with that. So I still have the He-Man stuff. If you want to read it, I'll send it to you.
Please.
But I changed. I stopped.
So what have you published under Minx? Oh,
under Minx, the only thing I published under Minx is the Encounters the 7 Erotic Sins. It's not the only thing I've written under Minx, though, but it's the only thing I've published. And that came about simply because my mother would kill me. We have the same name. So
give a brief explanation of that book, because I think the concept of it is absolutely brilliant.
It is about...
I think people think erotic is like not as serious, maybe, as like other... Do you know what I mean? Like, I think erotica kind of gets a bad rap.
That's why I wanted to do my April thing this year, because of that.
Which is a good segue. So tell us real quick what your concept is with the book, and then we'll explain to them all.
Okay, Encounters the 7 Erotic Sins is about a woman named Pandora, who is kind of, I want to say, is sci-fi-esque in the sense where she gets drawn into like this other realm. Mm-hmm. Think of Quantum Leap, like she leaps into this other realm, so to speak, and she's faced with these 7 doors that she has to go through in order to beat or whatever. She has to figure out what needs to be done in order to come back. That's the best way to put it. But each of the 7 doors is a different fairy tale. Each of the 7 doors is a different sin. So it's sin, story, and sigil. So each door has a different sigil as well. So, for instance, one of the doors that she ends up going through, now mind you, she's terrified. That part doesn't go away because she doesn't know what's going to happen. But she has to figure out who she is, what she has to do it, and then come back. And each one of those, she's facing a sin, but see, the 7 sins are hers.
Love it.
They're her sins.
So that's Minx Kenosha. If you want to find out, I did not link that below, but I believe it is on your website.
Yes.
So you can find Minx on your website if you're looking for a little sassafras, something to read in the evening. Now I am gonna do something.
Oh, I have it.
Oh, you got it. There it is. Boom.
Now I remade the cover, so the cover may not look like this because when I made this one, I didn't know a lot,
Yeah.
and now I know a little more.
Yeah, that makes sense. We all learn. So I'm going to skip ahead to our rapid fire questions. We will circle back to the future.
Oh, my son is in there.
We've only done the past and the present, so we didn't get to the future, but we will. I think we'll get to that when we answer people's questions, which I have not even looked at the comments yet, so apologies, people. I'm doing a lot of things in the background here to make this look a little more pro this time. So now it is time for my fave, the part that is going to be tough for my dear friend.
Oh.
So this is my favorite part of the game show, where it is called rapid fire questions. You are allowed 1, maybe 2-word answers, the maximum. No quantifying, justifying, anything.
Okay, I'll try.
Okay. Are you ready?
No. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the first thing you grab in the morning?
Too fresh.
Who's your biggest inspiration in life?
I don't know. There's so
Top
many.
Just pick one.
Karen Miliki Sanchez.
Ooh, okay. What do you think people notice most about you?
That I'm crazy.
What do you hope people notice most about you?
That I'm honest.
Okay. What's your biggest weakness?
Summation. I can't summarize shit.
I'm going to let that one hang in the air a bit as I'm trying to guide the ship on time. Okay. Okay, let's see. What to you is the perfect, most ideal age to be?
27.
Adjective that best describes you when you're drunk?
Silly.
What is your absolute #1 biggest pet peeve?
When people say pet peeve and not peeve.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, pet peeve is like if something like you're married, if Ricky does something that gets on your nerve, that's a pet peeve. If someone outside of your love life does something, it's a peeve.
Okay.
I'm
That makes sense.
just playing. My biggest peeve is liars.
Oh, okay. We share that. What is one personality trait you have no time for? And you just said liars, so you can't say that again.
Racist.
Oh, me too.
I don't know if that's a personality trait, but I don't have any time for that.
I'm with you. I'm with you there. Do you believe in something after death?
Not really.
How does someone get on your good side?
If they're creative, they're on my good side.
How does someone get on your bad side?
Hurt one of my kids.
Ooh. How do you hope you're described by people when you're not around?
I don't know why that almost made me cry. When I'm not around, creative, talented.
What is your least favorite physical attribute about yourself?
My skin, like I have eczema, so I hate that.
Okay. Is it okay to sleep with socks on?
If you're alone, I guess. Yeah.
How many dates before it's okay to do the no-no?
I don't know.
Okay. What is your love language?
What does that mean?
There are 5. Never mind. We'll move on. There are 5 love languages, but touch. Anyway, we'll move on. It's too much to explain. We're rapid fire, so I'm not. Summation's going to pull me out of my quick moment. Do you or do you not believe in ghosts?
Not really.
Okay.
It's hard to. I'll have to define that differently, but not really.
Rapid fire. What's your vice?
Pepsi.
Oh, I love
Hardcore.
I can't drink soda anymore, but I do love Pepsi. Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram?
Instagram.
Favorite artist?
Oh, I don't remember his name.
Be any kind of art, music, film.
Okay. Orlando Bloom.
Oh, me too, all over. all over this.
I love Orlando Bloom.
Love him. Okay. Which do you prefer, logic or creativity?
Logic, believe it or not.
Do the opposites truly attract?
They attract, they don't work.
Ask for permission or ask for forgiveness?
Permission.
Do you think chemistry is instant or grows with time?
Both.
Do you trust someone until proven otherwise, or do you think trust has to be earned, no matter who with?
Earned. Sorry.
Are there situations in which you think lying is okay or understandable?
Yes.
Comfortable silences or nonstop conversation?
Comfortable silences.
Do you believe in fate, or do you think we're in complete control of our circumstances?
I believe in fate, but I believe it can be altered. You can alter your fate.
Love or money?
Love.
Impulsive or methodical?
Methodical.
Do you think it's better to have loved and lost than to never have loved at all?
I do not.
Do you question things even if it will bother someone, or do you try not to rock the boat?
Question, argue, explore.
Which is more preferable, being nice or being fair?
Being fair.
Describe what would bring you the ultimate happiness in life in 3 words or less.
Successful at my craft.
Boom.
Oh, that might not have been in 3 words, was it?
Successful.
I'll take my.
Give the 2 small ones. The successful at craft. That's good. Okay. It's cool. It's cool. Okay, people, you survived. I only took 2 minutes of your question time. I'm now going to the comments to see what y'all have been talking about. Oh boy, I'm way behind. Okay, I'm going to start throwing some of these up here at you to answer. Here we go.
Oh, I see Jeremy. Yeah, he is my biggest inspiration.
Oh, your baby. So Novel Nana wants to know if Spencer and Chase were inspired by real people.
Spencer and Chase were inspired by real people. They're also a bit of me, but they were inspired by real people, yes.
Stewie yelled pooey.
Pooey definitely was inspired by a real person.
The Novel Nana says, yes, Orchid, think resilience and observance.
If I was going to say I was one of those characters, I would be more Orchid.
Okay, he's kind of said that earlier.
Yeah.
She lives in the present. She lives in the here and now. This is very sweet. Thank you, Novel Nana. Let's see. These books were gnarled and twisted, never happy. Colin Clark. Oh, thank you, Colin. That's very, very nice. Many, many years doing, setting up interviews for other people. So, yes. Oh, this is a good point. She said, right? Can you imagine how dark the original story was? No, I cannot, because Shattered is so dark. Like It was. I mean, it hits like every possible trauma indicator, like trauma warning that might be on a book. It's got like all of them. It's like, oh wait, so is suicide a problem for you? Ooh, okay. What about rape? Ooh, okay. Sexual assault. Ooh, like, ooh, okay. Well, anyway, okay. Oh, Colin and everybody was saying great job on your clip.
Goddess.
I want to see the movie. Colin wants to see the movie when it comes out. Novel Nana says jaw drop. Her scripts are amazing, says Stewie.
Oh, thank you.
197. Colin, I'm with you on that. Like, I don't even understand that. One, close your mouth. That's a lot. I got it. I think you told me 4 minutes, very short presentation time. That's how you do it. You're a great group. Nobody's getting Aphrodite's way. I'm so far behind. Oh, here's Jeremy. Sins? Question mark. Let's see. I'm her biggest inspiration. This is her son. So yeah.
He really is. He inspires me to keep going. He doesn't inspire the stories, but Jeremy is. If you think that I'm a good writer, Jeremy is a phenomenal one. He doesn't have the desire to tell stories, but if he did, He would take
Watch
the world
out.
over. He would take over.
Here's a question. Aphrodite, what is one thing you wish your younger self would have known that you know now?
So what's the biggest thing? You know, I really do wish I had. This is going to seem dumb, but I wish I'd known all the chronic stuff that was going to hit me, because I think a lot of it could have been thwarted in my youth.
Really?
A fair amount of it. Like, I feel like I suffered longer because of stuff I didn't know back then. Well, no one knew though. But it's hard not feeling good every day.
Chronic Illness Club. I feel that pain. Colin's giving you some love.
Love you, Colin.
Question, if you could reimagine Aaliyah's end, what would you change?
Aaliyah has a good end. You just didn't get there yet.
So in the future, we're going to see a happier wrap-up to the story.
Happier. Yeah, happy adjacent.
Happy adjacent.
Okay, let me think about it.
This is a question I think I can ask without it being spoiler alert. But like, is there a point in the Glass Corridor trilogy where like there is a happy ending for one of like characters that you're rooting for?
Yes.
Okay. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Still in a writing career? Great question.
If I'm still around in 5 years, I will be writing.
Filmmaking or writing? If you could only choose
both.
one. But if you could only choose one, which would you prefer?
Well, I can still write the films even if I don't shoot them.
Good answer. Okay. Happier or happier, but wee bit darker? That's probably more likely.
It is. Okay. Some shady shit happens moving forward. Because I mean, Chase only got worse, and Aaliyah, like I've said this before, if you think of Aaliyah as Anakin, I always say, Anakin before he becomes Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Aaliyah is going to get dark because of what happened to her. So people may not like her very much in the next book.
Well,
but I mean, if you read the first book, you're still with her. You're like, I get it.
Well, and I think sometimes that makes the best protagonists sometimes people that you almost love to hate, right? I mean, like
because, she's going to be going through a lot of stuff. And Dar, thank God she has Dar. Thank God. Dar is amazing no matter what.
Rainbows rock. Nana asks, if you had a dream cast for the Glass Corridor series book 1, who would you pick if you had control of the casting? Let's pretend you're J.K. Rowling and like the only author in the world that they would ever ask.
I would make sure, this is the thing, every last kid, no one would have seen them before or know them. They would have to be unknown.
Okay.
All of the adults, though, I wouldn't mind some stars stepping in.
Okay, so anybody favorite list?
I will always cast Orlando Bloom. I love Orlando Bloom. So he could be Mr. Ruggiero.
Yes, please.
And
I'll help you with the casting couch.
I can't, her name. What is her name? Oh, God, I know her. I've even spoke to her before. Did anybody see the VC Andrews stuff they did on, was it Hallmark or whatever? I don't remember what channel they did it on. The newer ones. Okay, never mind. I will get her name and I'll think of her name while we keep going. But I have somebody for Joy. Anybody could be Headmistress Kyriakis.
I think you should use Hillary's mom.
Hillary's mom. No, it won't work with her racial standings and stuff.
Oh, that's.
But Hillary's mom could be Bernadette. Easily.
Fierce.
Easily Bernadette. And then
Hillary's question to you now is a good one. Do you want to list them all?
What is it?
Read them all. It says, how many books do you have in the works?
You have my list.
Do you want me to read the list?
I can't pull everything up.
I've got it. Do you want me to read the list?
Yeah, you can read it.
Okay. Sit tight, everybody. Why is Word not working? Okay. So in the Glass Corridor universe, there are, is it 5 books or 4? Shattered, Stained, Sheer, Sacred, and Conversations?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 5. Uncharted series, Uncharted Desire, Uncharted Dreams, Uncharted Danger, Uncharted Depths, Uncharted Destiny, the Surrender Goddess series, Surrender Aphrodite, Surrender Venus, Surrender Kuan Yin, Surrender Osun, Surrender Freya, the Pandora's Encounters series, Worshipped, Favored, Embraced, Uncovered, Obsessed, Explored, Beloved, the Precious Gem duology, Dark Amethyst and Dark Diamond, and then there is a one-off / solo book cover. So really what I'm getting from reading that list is you don't really have a lot going on right now.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, just a wee bit. The majority of those, all of those are outlined. The majority of those are written 70% or so, with the exception of that very, very last one. And right now I'm finishing out Dark Amethyst.
do you want me to see if I can get that pulled up?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's answer some other questions whilst I'm...
That's the only reason they're in the works is because there's so much of it already done. Like my groundwork is laid.
Oh, hey, Bethany Votow. How are you guys? How was your drinking and
Hi,
lighting?
Bethany.
Stay the whole time. Okay, Novel Nana, if you could teach a class on Skillshare, what would you teach? Ooh, that's a good one.
I'm going to teach a class on Skillshare.
I don't know what Skillshare
I'm still putting
the
it together.
I don't know what Skillshare is, so what is it?
It's sort of like, I hate to compare it to YouTube, but it's like the platform is similar where you can make, do different workshops. So it looks sort of like what we have up now. And on the side, they'll have each workshop episode, however it is. And you could just, it's like $12 a month or something, but it's great. It's great because it's more in depth. The stuff that you can't find somewhere else. And they teach everything.
So what would you want to teach?
Oh, I'm going to teach how to get the book out of you. Not how to write. Because I don't think that, and this is going to be so controversial for me to say, I don't think you can write wrong. You write the way you write. But yes, you can put commas in the wrong place and you can get punctuation, stuff like that can be wrong technically. But how you tell a story is how you tell a story. Authors don't sound the same. You don't want to sound like someone else. I know if I'm reading V.C. Andrews, before you tell me, I know it's her. If I'm reading this person, I know it's them. You want your own voice. So my thing would be to help you get it to where you're thinking about this great book. How do I get started? How do I get to that zero draft? And that's what my class would be.
Cool. Okay, we're going to do
I'm
an
really
awkward
good at
Skillshare because this is not my best Skillshare. So hold tight, people. We're going to show you, talk a little bit about this book cover tease I am showing. It is not the actual, we're not going to tell too many details, but hold tight.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, is that working? Can you see it, Aphrodite?
I can see it.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell you how the story came about. This is one of my most newest stories. I think I've only had it in my heart for 2 years now. I was going through Facebook looking at book covers, and I'm just having a hard time because I write fantasy and paranormal fantasy and stuff like that. It's just hard to find books that have representation on it. I could find a billion fantasy books with a billion white girls with red hair. No problem. Couldn't find anybody that looked like me. And I was getting really heartbroken about that. And then people would come to me and say, well, there are plenty of books with, black girls. I'm like, yeah, if you commission somebody to do it, then you can get it. So it just so happened while I was in my tear moment, scrolling through, because I couldn't afford it at the time, I'm scrolling through this Facebook group and I saw this book cover.
I have seen the cover.
And
I am do all of your Patreons have access to this cover, or is it just?
I'm not sure. It might be just your tier and above.
Okay, but Patreon.
But I'm not sure.
But you can see it if you're a Patreon. So if that's a tease for you, tell you. But let me tell you, it's a beautiful cover. It really is. Like, it's stunning.
I just almost fell out of my chair. I literally almost fell out because I couldn't believe it. And not only was it a black woman in a fantasy setting, but a dark-skinned black woman, right, with some curves on her. And it was absolutely fancy. And I was like, I got to have this cover. And I knew I didn't have the money. And I was like, what am I going to do? Because someone's going to snatch this up because it's just not seen. And I contacted the cover artist. I forgot what she called it before, though. I contacted her and I was like, please sell this to me. I don't have any money, but I promise I'll give you money if you just let me have it. Do not sell it to someone else. And I said, I'll put a down payment. I'll do whatever you want. Just please let me have it. And she wrote me right back and said, it's yours. With no money. She just took my word. And so I paid on it because it wasn't expensive. I'm just poor. So I paid on it and I got the cover. And as soon as I got the cover, I'm like, you don't have a story. You have not one story in your arsenal that's even close to this story. What are you going to do?
Now
So
what?
that's when I said, what is she? She's a djinn. And then my mind just exploded and it became dark amethyst.
This is an excellent question. Do you want me to read it to you?
Yeah.
The novel Nana question. If you could co-author a book with a couple different author tubers, who would you trust to keep the vision of the story you want to tell? And I think if you don't say novel Nana, she's going to kill you off.
Well, as
teasing.
far as novel Nana goes, novel Nana, you guys aren't ready.
She's told
me.
I've heard a little bit about the story, and she's read me a little bit of it. And
she is such a word master, though.
Yeah.
Like, she is a word master. She is one of the greatest storytellers I've come across. But working with other people, you can't be that concrete. You got to be fluid enough to be able to go with it, too. So as far as telling the story I would want to tell, I would not go into it wanting to tell my story and then with someone. It would have to be something that, because I can tell my own story by myself. It has to be something that we were jointly doing, where it was separated in such a way that the people who are involved are telling their own story and a collective story. It's almost, think of it like this. Like if you were writing a book and it was 4 POVs, I could tell a story from 4 POVs. And I look at it, if I would be with a group of people, we would be doing that, and each of us would have a POV.
Cool. Next novel Nana question, because she's killing it with the questions. What is your favorite book baby?
What's that mean?
People call book babies, every book you have is a book baby.
My favorite book?
Yeah, that you've written yourself. Yours. Of yours.
Probably Johnny Raven.
When do I get to read it?
I'll send you the script version.
Okay.
But that's also hard to say, because like one thing, just understand this one thing, because Shattered is probably my favorite book, but that's because it's the current one that's out, so to speak, if that makes sense. Shattered is not my first and only book, though. Right. Shattered is one of about 20 books that I have written that I can say that are done. I have way more books than that, but that are done. And I've been living with these characters since I was younger than what they are. The characters in Shattered, the youngest one I think is 16. I was 14 when these characters came into my world. I've been living with them for a minute, but because of that, I have an arsenal of books that followed. It's way down here. The reason why you see Shattered first is because it was the first complete story, and I wanted to get it done and out, so it would stop, sitting in my brain. I wanted these to share them with the world, but it's the first one. I got so many after, so many, and so I don't know if that explained it well, but it, like, as far as stories go, Johnny Raven was one of my favorite stories. It was favorite for me to write, favorite for me to tell. I shot some scenes of it as well. It's the story that made me recognize that I'm a dark writer.
Yeah. Okay, Nana, I'm going to have to skip some of yours because you're throwing so many at me, and we're getting way behind in the chat. Nana wants to know when your dolls will be available to the public, for purchase in the public.
I'm not gonna make them for purchase.
Okay.
But that's if I do make them for purpose, it'll be way down the line. Right now, all they are either my author tuber friends. I'm just doing homages for them, and I'm doing characters in my books. So I'm not actually selling those. There are some that I'm giving away though.
Okay.
And I don't want to say too much because I want people to be surprised when they get them. But okay. I have some author tubers who I love, who I made dolls of, and I'm giving them to them. I'm not going to say who.
I'm not assuming. Okay. So the novel Nana question: if you had to give up all but one creative well, which would you hold on to?
I don't know what you mean by that.
I think she means directing, writing, doll making, crafting. You do a lot of creative.
I would hold on to writing. If I don't write, I lose my mind.
Novel Nana wants to know, what is the hardest and easiest parts of the writing processes for you?
The hardest part for me is editing. And not because editing is hard, it's just tedious. And it's hard on me for physical reasons. The easiest part is the writing part. And I know that sounds facetious. It's easy for me to sit down and go at it. But if you know how you can write 5,000 words with 4,000 of them are junk.
Yeah.
So
I do that well.
Don't misunderstand when I say about the easiest part is writing. I am a very, very fast typer. I'm a fast writer in general. I literally wrote one of my big books I wrote in less than a month. Like literally, everything about it was less than a month. That doesn't always happen. But I am pretty fast with writing. So I would say the easiest part is just once I set my mind that, okay, I am writing this, I knock it out. The hard part comes after that.
Novel Nana question: who are some author tubers, if any, that you would like to create a project with, writing or otherwise?
There's this guy named Barrett. Don't really want to talk too much about him. That I would love to work with. He's outgoing and he's funny and he's creative. Love to work with. I asked this one chick.
Girl.
I would love to do a project with you. I really would. And I'm not just saying it because you're here. We talk all the time.
We do.
And then Becky, I would like to do something with Becky, but I don't know if I can go full scale because she is way above my talent. But I would love to get a story together and then let her go go at it. You know what I mean? So I would like that. There aren't many.
Telling Nana or Bex one-on-one is the same thing I feel like I tell you, which is confidence. Like, you both have amazing skills. You just have to believe in them.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing. Like, I believe in me 100%. Me believing in me doesn't mean that I think I'm better or the greatest person ever, but I believe in me 100%. Because here's the thing. I have been pushed down and mistreated and a whole myriad of madness my entire life, and I still picked up my pen and wrote. I've had little people telling me, you're nothing. You're never going to write. Who's going to want you? This, and this. And me being, this is why I say I'm not like Aaliyah. Because me being me, I'm like, fuck you. I don't care. So what? I can be ugly and still write this story, you know?
I'd be giving them this. I'd be like, this is why I wear a pretty ring on the middle finger. It's so you see something pretty.
I guess the best way to put it is I've always had confidence in me. I don't have as much confidence in the outside of me, in the world. I don't. And I don't want to be so cynical and feel that way, but y'all, you have no idea how bad it's been for me. And I would feel like, because people say, you're always so happy, you're so this, I choose happy. Because if I lived inside of all of my hurt and my pain, I'd be a miserable person. I don't want to be miserable. I choose happy. What makes me happy? You make me happy. Writing makes me happy. You know, getting films together. I go on set. Keep in mind, we're shooting films. I can't see very well. So when I storyboard everything out, I expect that my assistant director is getting the shots I want. And then because of my disabilities, then we have to get a shot. And then they have these screens that they have to bring up. Then I have to watch the clip of it and go, oh, that was off. Shoot it again. I'm a very different person on set. That is not what I said. Shoot it again. Very good. Okay, come on in. Blah, blah, blah. And it takes me extra to do what it takes people just to get up and do. And those kind of things, people say, well, you can't do it. The minute you tell me I can't do something, you prove to me that how stupid you are. There are things I can't do. I'm pretty sure I can't fly on my own volition. But I don't have any desire to. If I had desire to, I'd figure it out.
Nana, what is your all-time favorite book not written by you?
Yeah, it's so many. I do kind of wish I'd written the Percy Jackson books. I like those.
Oh, I do love that. Rick Riordan.
I love Rick Riordan so much. There's a lot. A lot of the George R.R. Martin. I like how he has the big ensembles and he's
huge. It's like Stewie big. Like I can't keep up with it. It's like a lot.
I love that though. I love that. And he'll have murder scenes and he describes and sex scenes that he describes, but his books they aren't classified as erotica or this, that, and the other. They're adventure. And I love that. I would love for somebody to mistake some of my stuff for adventure. I can't wait till my fantasy stuff comes out.
They're laughing at our face. Okay. Cat Flies, question. If you could have one author two people here be in one of your movies, who and why?
Danny.
Ooh, yes.
Danny. My son has been in most of my films anyway, but Danny for sure.
Yeah.
And you said if I can have one, so don't get mad at me because I would.
I'm not meant to be in front of a camera.
It's a couple people in here I would want.
Not only a question, what did you do to help you prepare for today's interview?
I did nothing but panic. I did nothing but panic, and I'm still sitting here. My leg is still shaking.
Oh, I like these Colin questions. Dolls, question mark. And then Colin asks, and I love this question because you do. Do you outline extensively or not?
I outline. Not with the intensity of D.L. Stewart.
Oh my gosh, no one is at the intensity of Stewie. That's a different level.
Because again, I keep telling him those are synopses, not outlines.
Yes, and they're long synopsis.
I outline everything I've done since I'm in my 30s. Before 30, I didn't outline. Since 30, 35-ish, I outline. And I don't move until my outline is done. And that doesn't mean I don't do some work on it. Like Dark Amethyst. Before I started working on Dark Amethyst, I dumped every idea that came to me. And then I started picturing scenes. And then as soon as I stopped doing that, I get into the characters. I take the characters and I give them everything from birthdays to whatever, fears. I lock them in. And as soon as I do that, all the ideas that hit me, well, these people, they can only act like who they are. So once I put them in a situation, what if I take a girl who's never been away from home and put her in a private school with a bunch of Richie Riches? What's going to go down? Well, before I put that girl into that school, I gave her every personality, all her flaws, all her good, all her bad. I knew what they were before she darkened the door. And that way, she could never pull out a character, and people would never write me and go, I don't think Aaliyah would have did that. And that's how I kept all that madness straight. And so once I do all that, now my characters, I can show you. Yeah. So I have my character sheets. Now my fantasy characters, they're longer, so they have like 3 sheets that have all the information on them.
There is a video of a live you did doing those character sheets on your channel.
Yeah.
And if I can figure out how, I will add the card here somewhere.
I don't know how to do it.
I can do it in post for the people who watch it on replay, but I'll add a card to when she goes through those character analysis
Right.
for you. Nana has another question for you. What are your favorite and least favorite tropes?
My least favorite trope is what do you call it? The city of hats or whatever. When everybody, you know how you go to Star Trek does this a lot. You go to an alien world, and everybody is wearing the same kind of clothes, and they worship the same gods, and all that kind of stuff. I hate when books do that. I hate when any story does that. It's like, think about our planet. When you come to our planet, we don't all dress alike or similar. We don't all worship the same deities. We don't all do anything the same. And whenever you Planet of Hats, that's what's called. Planet of Hats, that's my most hated trope. And I said, when I do my fantasy stuff, I will make sure that I do not do that. And that's one thing you will not find in my book. My most loved trope is one that people don't like. I like insta love.
Oh, do you really?
I do.
Oh,
Because
Lord.
here's the thing about insta love. It is never really insta love. It's
Oh, it's
insta
always
lust.
lust.
It's the attraction.
Always.
But because they call it insta love, I do like it because I look at, like, when I have to give examples I think people would know. Spencer and Aaliyah. Spencer was instantly in love with Aaliyah. He had not even seen her face. He literally was looking at the back of this girl. He had charted his life with her. He hadn't even seen her face. And I thought, I like that kind of corny stuff because now he has to go backwards and learn who she is, learn stuff about her. It's like going on a blind date and you have to work your way back, as opposed to being friends with somebody since second grade and then you go on a date.
Right.
So I do like insta love. I just think it needs to be called something different.
Colin says, funny enough, I'm only now outlining at 62, having winged it for years. So I guess Colin was a full-on plantster, or I guess he's a plantster now, but was a pantser before, maybe?
Yeah, it's nothing wrong with pantsing.
I'll
Like,
figure it out for you, Colin.
pantsing works for people. It's not, and I hate the term pantsing. I like discovery writer. Whatever works for you is what's great. The truth of the matter is that pantsing didn't ever work for me.
Oh, me either. Yeah.
And it wasn't until I didn't know anything different. I mean, as far as I know, you sit down and you write the book. When I went to college and my teacher was like, "Hey, let me show you how to outline." I'm like, "Outline what? This is not a term paper. What are you talking about?" When I learned that, I've been rapid fire writing ever since.
Stewie has a question. What's a typical word count for a normal plotter?
Oh,
Wait, excuse me.
Is there such thing as a normal writer?
Well, notice what he's doing here right now, because I don't know if the audience can see us because of all the shade Stewie just threw at us. But a typical word count. I will answer this for us. A typical word count for a normal plotter is like a page. So 250 words, maybe 300, maybe. But like Stewie goes scene level deep. Like,
Right.
that's like, I
But
mean,
if that's what he needs, that's what he needs.
oh, 100%. I'm not judging it. I'm just saying
I know you're not. I know you're not.
I don't have the brain for all that, especially with that many characters. I'm currently baiting, although I'm probably more took over as like an alpha. But anyway, I jumped all over Stewie's second book now, and I'm working on it literally now. And I could not do all that. Like, those scenes that he comes up with I couldn't do it. Like, that's more than I could do. So lots of shade from cousin Stewie.
But I'm gonna take back a little bit of credit, because I always give myself so much credit for how I outline. But the truth of the matter is, how I outline was based on how my teacher said to do this, this, and this. And when he said, like, now I've altered it since then, but it still came down to, this is all you need. And he did his on a 3-act graph. So trust me, mine is different. But he put bullet points on a 3-act graph. And basically, I'm gonna make the numbers up. So it was 10 bullet points on the first act, 10 on the third act, and 15 in the middle. And he's like, well, this is what you do. And you write these things. What happens first? What happens last? And, you know, you're going back and forth and you're doing this. I'm like, wow, that is so brilliant. Oh, my God. So what I took from that was I sit down and write whatever came to me. Aaliyah late for school. Aaliyah goes into the school for the first time. Blah, blah, blah. And then when I ran out of chronological order, I started writing scenes I wanted to happen. Dar beats up Barbara. You know, I just started, and then I puzzled those in, and then it started looking like a story. I took a whole bunch of stuff out.
Right.
Because it was too dark.
Well, Colin has thrown out there, based on Stewie's shade point about the book. Yep, discovery writing's great, but it resulted in too many unfinished stories. Then he said, I watched the James Patterson master class. He outlines extensively, scene by scene, works for him.
James Patterson's master class is off the hook.
I have seen the Margaret Atwood one. That's
hers too.
I loved hers, but
I watched all of the writers.
I'm obsessed with hers. So okay, let's see. So Nana asked a question. I'm going to take a different spin on it. Nana asked, what is one piece of advice you would give aspiring writers? So I'm going to pause that and change that question a little bit. So, because I had plugged that I would ask you about this. So now that you have gone the self-publishing route, what would you tell someone who is about to self-publish? Like, what is the piece of advice you give them that you think is the thing they should know before they hit publish?
Don't put out, like, if you're writing one book, you've written nothing else, don't publish that. Make sure that you have a lot more experience in your writing. And what I mean by that is, let's say Shattered was my baby. Let's just say Shattered was my baby. That's the one I want the world to get. Well, I wouldn't put that out first if I didn't have a whole bunch of other stuff written where I was kind of honing in my writing style. I'm going to say style, not craft. Honing in my writing style, getting my voice together. So I wouldn't have dared put out the stuff I wrote first as what I published first, if that makes sense.
Totally.
That's my advice. Give yourself a chance, and you can look at it like this. Give yourself to be, let's say that you write 4 books and publish the 5th one. Even if and then you can still publish the 4. I don't know how to say that correctly. Except I didn't put the first book I wrote out. I put the first book that I honed in my stilo, which it was a whole bunch of stuff that came before it.
Yeah.
You only know that as the first book. It is not my first book.
Yeah. And I think authors say that all the time. I don't think there's or I don't know the statistic off the top of my head, but I think it's something like the 4th or at least in traditional publishing, it's like the 4th or 5th book they query that on average gets published. But
the reason why I say this for people who want to do it independently is because you have the power to just put out what you write right then and there. You have that power. Right. But because you have that power, that's not the best way to go. There's a reason why people query over and over again before they actually get a book out.
Well, I think it's those people that the folks that will go in and do a publish before they should that give self-publishing a bad name, right? And usually, I'll just say, I'm a Kindle Unlimited person, it's usually books that I'll find in Kindle Unlimited. It's rarely the books that I'll buy for, $2.99, $3.99, $5.99, whatever, that are self-published, that are not the high quality that I expect from books, than the ones I'll find on Kindle Unlimited where I'm reading and I'm like, holy cow, did this person even have an editor? Have they heard of a comma?
Right.
And
you just want to give yourself the best chance. Of course, you're still going to be flawed. I have read traditionally published books with mistakes in them. So, but
There are always mistakes.
Present in the best way that you can. People don't forget quick.
Right.
They really don't, and you don't want to ask for forgiveness. You want to ask for permission.
You only get one first time. I mean, the agent that I had visited with a while ago, when I went back and reworked this before sending it back out, she said to me at the time, she said, "You only get one first time at this. So like, make sure it's this is it. This is it." So okay, I'm going to move on so I don't get stuck. Stewie said, "Same, I pants. Yes, I know I used to be on the dark side. LOL, JK, maybe. Not really. I've seen your outlines. 3 books before I ever wrote Metagore. Didn't know that." Question, would you ever say stories or predominantly character or plot driven? Oh, sorry. Would you say your stories are predominantly character or plot driven? I can't read without my glasses.
They're definitely character created.
Yeah.
Because I always put in, I have crazy sinister plots. So, and I make sure that the plots are at least, interesting enough. If the characters weren't interesting, that the plot will still draw you to see what happens. But before I do that, I make sure my characters are on point.
Yeah.
I mean, even if they're awful, I still make sure that I know who they are.
This is a question. Can I answer this for you and see if I'm right? Okay. Novel Nana asks, question, do you have a soft spot for one of your antagonist characters over the rest? And I was going to say no, at least not with Chase, right? Like, you don't have some deep love for Chase. Okay.
If we're talking about Chase, no.
He's a horrific individual.
I mean, there's nothing.
I think I've met the antagonist in the early stuff of yours, or the stuff I've read that's not, like, published. I only have a first chapter of that one.
I'm trying to think. I don't have a soft spot for this particular one. I have a character, and his name is Deet, D-E-E-T.
Like the bug spray?
And no, like DT, like Donald Trump. Deet. But he's like a royal and other and complete asshole. But the reason why I kind of have a soft spot for him, not because he's right, because he isn't, but he truly thinks he's right. He doesn't have like a mischief agenda behind what he's doing. He's just wrong. You know what I mean? So he's doing all these terrible things because he thinks he's right. He's not doing them because he's mean and evil. He's just stupid.
Yeah.
And when it comes, when the light is finally shining on him and he recognizes that, oh my goodness, this isn't the way to go, he does the right thing. So I do have sort of a soft spot for him, but it's going to be hard.
This fool here has written.
What?
Stewie.
You know what? I almost called you out your name again. Hashtag change. You alone. You and my nephew. I mean, my grandson. Where is it? Oh, I can't find it. You love it.
I see him. I can see him.
No, I was looking for the Team Spencer Cup, but they're all the way up there.
Oh.
Oh, that's Chase.
Leave it to Stewie to give a little.
Goddamn.
A little mess in there. What is your favorite personality type to write?
Favorite personality? I do not have a favorite personality. I guess the one I write the most, or let me say the one that shows up everywhere, I wouldn't still say it's a favorite though, is I don't like hothouse flowers as leads. I like hothouse flowers as long as they're not leads. So my girl characters, especially, because some of my boys too, they're not weak, they're not old damsels in distress. Even if they get in distress, and even if they get hurt, and even if stuff is happening to them, they're not, weakling type, kids. And that's my favorite type to write. I cannot stand when you're reading the story and you got the kid in the dark all the time, 100%, but you have him, it's okay if he doesn't know, but you have him being like scared and timid all the time. Just all the time. That bugs me a little bit. Even though me saying it out loud, there's still a place for it too. Because there are people who are timid.
People are talking about how Stewie is an outsider and is a one-man team for Chase.
Yeah, because as soon as my grandson is old enough, I'm going to tell him why he shouldn't like Chase.
What writing resource do you find the most helpful?
I have an extensive library for like writing stuff all the way like from I'm terrible at trying to think of titles, but I have a lot. Hold on. I think I might have one that's right here. I was looking at the blue book of grammar punctuation.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to be.
Yes.
I use this for when I teach the kids their writing courses because it's and I say this is almost like I break rules. If you read my stuff, you know I break rules when it comes down to grammar, punctuation, that kind of thing. But I knowingly break rules.
But here's the thing: do you break
When
the
I'm
rules?
teaching kids, I teach them the rules. So
But do you break the rules in dialogue, right? Which doesn't count to me as breaking rules
Right.
because it's dialogue. So in traditional publishing, that's a step. That's something that when you're working with your
but I break the
copywriter,
rules
you should
sometimes in
do.
prose as well, though. I sometimes do still break the rules a little because like it's
yeah.
certain things I want to say right off the bat, and I can't remember for sure. There are like 9 comma rules, like 9 rules for commas, something like that. I don't remember. I don't agree with all of them.
You're like, I just don't agree.
Because I don't agree with all of them because for one thing, English is stupid. And I just don't agree with all of them. Now, I'm the person who will put something if I think that you needed to understand what I'm talking about. For instance, like people get me and they go like, oh, you don't do a lot in your description. And I said, I describe the things that I feel that you need to know in order to make the story make sense to you. For instance, it's very important to me that you know that Chase has 2 different color eyes. It's important to the storyline that you know that. It's important that you know he has dark hair because later on when kids start popping up, you know you're seeing some stuff. It wasn't important to me that you knew, I don't know.
Hillary has that book by her desk, by the way, the one you just held up.
Yeah. It's not important. I can't think of. I'm trying to think of a good example, so I'm just gonna make this up in case I'm wrong. It wasn't important for me to know, for you to know what color Mr. Ruggiero's hair was and his eyes. You know, you can see him however you pictured him when he popped on the page. But so when it comes down to writing, I feel kind of the same way. And so yeah, I break the rules because my editor, I drove my editor crazy. He was not happy with me. When I say that he poured blood all over my pages, every page was red. Like I'm like, there's not a mistake. Now, of course, he found like 100 billion mistakes too, but I'm like, that wasn't a mistake. I did that on purpose.
Colin Clark says the rules are well and good, but it's cadence of the prose that tells the story.
Perfectly good. Colin, do the interview for me.
Makes it easier for the reader to be there with the character.
Thank you. Cadence of the prose. Please write that, by the way. Write that book and tell people that. That's perfect.
Colin, you've been dispatched. The novel Nana, if you need more questions, and there are a few up there that got passed up. Oh boy, Nana, I don't know if I'm going to be savvy enough to scroll back. I will try. And the rules change from time to time, so I think what's exactly. Let's write them, invite me. Okay.
But to be clear, I want to make sure that my reader is understanding it the way I'm trying to get it across.
Yeah.
So that's what's important to me.
Do you write to the reader or do you write to yourself?
That is really a good question. I write, by the time I take the time to actually write the story, I am writing for someone else to read it, but I write the story I want to read.
Whose editorial voice do you listen to more than your own?
I don't know what you mean.
Is there an alpha or someone that you give your work to early that you trust more than your own?
More than my own?
Like, do you trust some? Let me explain it this way. I have some. This is a personal. I'm curious. I have someone that I write with, or pass stuff back and forth with, and she is not a writer. However, she is a ferocious reader. She's the one I turned on to your work. And she just catches things. Like it's weird, and I always kind of joke that it's what's that movie with Tom Cruise, where Rain Man. She's like Rain Man about story structure and plot holes. It's incredible. So I trust her. Like when she writes back to me and gives me a note that's like, "Hey, this thing is glaring and you should think about it." I trust that. Like, so, and I've seen videos before with CPs. When I get notes back, I always stress to people, sit on those notes for like a week before you do anything about them. Like think about whether you really want to make that change in your baby, in your work. But with Terry, or this person, for example, I trust her. Like if she says this needs this, it needs that. It's like mashed potatoes that need some salt and pepper. So you know what I mean? So
I have a couple people like that, but the only person so far in my entire life, in my whole life, that has read everything that I have written is Danny.
Which is DL Tillery.
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It's Danette. Because I trust that she's going to be honest. And that's the best thing you can get from somebody. I wouldn't say that she catches every mistake I make and stuff like that, because she doesn't read for me to do that.
Right.
If that makes sense. But I know if something isn't working, she'd be like, girl, you know, some stuff, this is that, blah, blah, blah. I trust that. Now, in my betas, the betas are the ones, I like for my betas to not be writers, but to be,
because what happens is like what I'm doing
time readers
paper right now.
No, I like for my alpha to be a writer.
Yeah, no, you're right, totally.
Right.
Yeah,
but my betas, I want them to be readers, people who just love to read and don't have enough to read, because then they get into it and they will pick some shit apart.
Truly. Colin says, thank you, Aphrodite. I will indeed. It was us bloody Brits that made all those stupid rules in the first place. Ain't that the truth?
Well, you know what? But then the Americans twisted the shit into some more craziness, some tomfoolery.
Right.
So
Neighbor doesn't have a U in it, so I know what you're talking about. Okay, question. What fairy tale would you love to do your own spin on or a retelling?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
All of them. I've done it already.
When do we see it? When do we get in there?
Well, you got a taste of it in Encounters.
It's all right. I appreciate it, though, Barrett. Oh, I don't know what I did, Stewie. What did I do? Oh, I get it. His manuscript that I'm ripping it to hell. Okay, yeah, sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
You got a taste of it in Encounters, because each of the worlds that Pandora goes into is a different fairy tale. When the Encounters series come out, when Pandora's stuff come out, you'll get it. You'll get all my twisted versions of the fairy tales.
Yeah,
that's the best way I can put it.
Colin says, the first person I've ever shared the first draft with is Kent Sean, because I trust him to be honest and constructive, even if he's going to ring the death knell.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you need, I think. I think it's the hardest thing to find is that person that you trust enough to be like, oh, I love this comment from Tillery. I know her secrets. She knows where them bodies are buried.
She does actually know where the bodies are. She knows.
She helped you bury them. Is there a genre you would never write in?
Never.
Is there something you wouldn't write?
I'll probably never write in science fiction.
Mm.
But I say that because I'm a lover of science fiction. I just don't think I have the skills. Now, even though technically most science fiction, like Star Wars, are just westerns in space.
Mm.
So I can't say for sure it won't happen one day, but I don't have any desire to do it.
So Nana wants Danny to share, make her part of the tribe. LOL. Stewie says she's your alibi. That's the truth.
No joke.
So you wouldn't touch sci-fi. Is there a genre that would surprise people that you do write in?
I don't think so. I think people were shocked to find out that I wrote paranormal fantasy.
I was shocked. After
they were like you wrote coming of age. You write coming of age, new adult. I'm like, no, I don't. I wrote one coming of age, new adult. It's just that you saw that first. So I get where that comes from.
Yeah.
But it's the only, Shattered is the only story like that.
Phenomenal, Nana. All right, guys, we're getting down to our last 5 minutes. If you got more questions, hit her with them. 4 minutes and 50 seconds. I can think of one. So we were talking about the fairy tale retelling. Is there a fairy tale that you wouldn't try to retell or you think shouldn't be touched?
No,
Perfect as is.
I think they're all, you can get all of them. I don't think any can't be touched. There's one I won't touch. I will not mess with the Little Mermaid.
Really? I love that story.
Wait,
Little Mermaid, the Disney version, or like the dark?
No, I'm talking about Hans Christian.
Yeah.
Okay, no. I don't dislike the story. I have a deep-seated fear of aquatic creatures.
Well, that's what you told
so
me.
I can't retell that story unless she ain't a mermaid no more.
Oh, I forgot.
Which technically, I guess I could actually do that though.
Stop laughing and talk to me. What initiation must I endure? I'm down.
What is she talking about?
She wants in the tribe.
She's already in the tribe. Why does she keep saying that?
That's my husband.
I
love seeing him just go through the shop. And then behind us.
That's too cute.
Oh, Ricky. He just got home from work. This has been a fabulous live stream. Thank you both so much. Thank you, Colin, for coming and hanging with us and asking such great questions.
Thank you, Colin.
I enjoyed watching you guys over on Kent's while I could hang until I had to switch over here and do prep. They have a lot of fun over on that live stream if people aren't checking it out.
What live stream?
So Kent's doing a live stream on Saturday afternoons. I think it's so the British people can stay. It's like time of day for them.
Right.
But they're doing a 2-hour or so live stream where they drink and they do 2 10-minute writing sprints where they do flash fiction in 20 minutes, and then you send it to Kent and they read it on air. Like,
I don't know how to do flash fiction.
Listen, I didn't either, and I went and did it, and it was fun. It was.
I want to do it.
Yes. So, okay. Want to know all your secrets? Love the way he dances. Oh yeah, I do too, Colin. That's why I married him. Ricky. This is
Pretty Ricky
awesome.
with the collar.
Thank you, Nana. Well, no, this was a ton of fun. I told you it wasn't scary.
I'm still scared.
It flew by, didn't it? Don't you just blink and you're like, wow, where did that time go?
I'm glad my son showed up.
Oh, yes, your inspiration.
I love that kid so much.
This was a lot of fun. I'm going to pop back up a couple of things that I want people to see before we go. We hit on them earlier, but I just want to make sure people know where they can go and where they can get. So over on Amazon, you will find Shattered. They have the paperback for $12.99, but I think that
please get it, and please leave a review.
And leave a review. Yes,
it's crucial to us.
Why is reviews so important to self-published authors? Go.
They're crucial because the way Amazon works is like if it's not generating that people are reading, then they don't put you up front. They don't promote you. Like one of my books is kind of buried because it hasn't gotten any action right now. I understand how that works, but even with the people who already read it, it's been hundreds of people read it. If they would just do the reviews, it would make all the difference. It would generate more interest in it.
So it's the algorithm is what I think.
It really is. And the algorithm is what it is. Like it's the demon that we have to deal with. So I'm not putting it down, but in trying to work it is not easy when you're independent because you don't have the same tools afforded to you that other, situations would.
Right. All right, so leave the reviews on Shattered on Amazon. I am now flashing up there her YouTube channel. If you guys have not already head over and subscribed, what are you doing with your lives? I don't even know you.
Yes, subscribe.
So get over there and subscribe. She had taken a break from social media and was maybe not going to continue with YouTube and recently decided to do so. Do you want to talk anything about what's upcoming with you on YouTube? Because I can share the screen one more time and show what's coming in April. Are you ready?
Okay. And yes, Colin, I will come. I see it.
Yes, I'll go with her. When she does it, I'll go. We'll go.
Barrett will make sure I know, and then we'll be there.
Yes. Okay, so tell them what they're seeing on screen.
Okay, so I'm doing a little game next month, and it's called April is for Writing Erotica. Be in awe. And the main reason I wanted to do this is because I started seeing I feel like erotica writers get a little flack that they don't deserve. And I wanted to do like, hey, let's just lift up and do some writing. And I thought the best way to do it is to make a game out of it. Plus, I like to play games. Let's be real. So I came up with a bingo prompt game. So I'll give more details of it and I'll post it everywhere. So if I'm saying it wrong, please forgive me. But I'm giving out prizes for it. I'm going to give away an Amazon gift card. I'm going to give away some of my books and some merch to whoever wins the bingo. But basically what you have to do, because it's bingo, is write 4 or 5, depending on where you're getting it, stories of some sort that are erotica based on the prompts with the correspond with the numerals. Bingo. And I'm not saying it as well as I should, but it's bingo. You're right. You get 4 across. You get entered in. So you can do it as many times as you want throughout the whole month of April.
And is it going to be live streams, or how are you doing it?
I'm always going to do some streams where we're writing anyway. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to post the sign up for it so people can see the cards and everything and see what the prompts are.
Cool.
Everywhere on my social media. And in fact, I'll make a video as well on my channel.
So she's making a video on her channel.
It'll be like a commercial for it.
Like a trailer.
Yeah, so you'll see it and it was like, this is what you do, this is what you're gonna do, this is all the things. And like it's 24 different prompts. And you literally get to choose trying to get bingo.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I want to be real clear. You do not have to write long novels. And of course you can, because you have a month. You can write a song as long as it tells that particular story in that prompt. You can write a poem, you can write a short, you can do flash fiction, you can write a whole darn novel.
Yeah, I love that.
Not limited.
So watch her channel for the trailer on that. Also watch her social media, all of which should be linked in the description below, as well as a link to where you can buy Shattered. We're going to go through the last of the comments here. Colin said,
oh, can I say one more thing about it?
Please.
It's any heat level as well. So there are people who don't write the hardcore crazy stuff, but they still write erotic. It's any heat level, 1 flame to 5 flames, okay? You don't have to feel...
Like, what's 1 flame? Like, is pepper spicy? Like, is it like...
It's on the page sex is 1 flame. So you can write a sex scene that's not...
Like a cutaway.
That's definitely not cutaway. Then you don't have the sex scene. It could be... I'm trying to think of the flowery kind where he touched me and this, that, and the third, and she...
caressed her bosom.
That kind of stuff. Or you can go hardcore with the bad words.
Well, I'm a Christian, so I gotta, keep it with the Lord. Okay, Colin said, come on, Aphrodite, do some flash. Both Barrett and I lost our flash fiction virginity on Ken's live stream. That's true, and it's fun, and it's like trial by fire. It's worth...
I hope I can do it.
Aphrodite, you can. Aphrodite, you were so awesome. You did amazing. Barrett Laurie, great job. Thank you. Let's see. Can't even outline, but the streams are hilarious. Oh, come on. So shady. You know, it makes sense, Novel Nana. Subscribed, of course. Appreciate Colin. Wait, Colin Clark, makes sense. Okay, they're figuring things out in live chat. Yes, ready to get the erotic done. Okay, Tillery, I'm with ya. Love to and hugs to all. Amazing stream. Night, Nana. Sorry, Novel Nana. It's a Brit sitcom thing. I meant, it makes sense in flash fiction on the hop. Okay. Well, listen, everybody.
I can't wait to try. I know I'm not going to be successful the first time, but I'm going to try.
I'm seriously going when you do it. Like, I try to make them every Saturday. They used to do them later in the day. They're doing them earlier. And so, like, today I couldn't be there. But
what time Saturday?
3 o'clock, our time.
Oh,
no, sorry. Your time, 2 o'clock. Wait a minute.
How am I missing these?
2 o'clock for me, 1 o'clock for you. 1 o'clock for you, 2 o'clock for me, 3 o'clock for them. Because they're
okay. I'm subscribed to Ken. I don't know how I'm missing them.
The algorithm's been doing weird things, so I don't. Yeah, all views and things are down. Kat said, Aphrodite, you did great. Thank you, Kat. Good luck with your book, which is
Kat, I love you so much. I can't wait for your book.
15th, Kat, your book Rebel is coming out. Am I right about that? Or is it Rebel? I may be saying it wrong. But anyway, I pre-ordered. So
actually, I don't know. Is it Rebel? I thought it was Rebel.
I don't know. She's gonna have to tell us. 2 p.m. for you, 9 p.m. at night here. Holy cow, Colin, I didn't even think about what time it must be there now. It's very late. Thank you for staying up with us. Kat,
this makes me want to do
March 14th, her sister's birthday, because I've seen it in her videos. Her sister's birthday, March 14th, is her debut date. And neither Aphrodite and I are sure. We may have messed up the title, but people check out Kat Fly's channel to see about her book, which is coming out March 14th.
Go subscribe to Kat.
Subscribe, follow, do all the things. Colin says it's 2:04 a.m. That's closing time. You know what that means? We're cutting off all the booze. Rebel.
Okay.
Rebel. Okay, I'm wondering if there's a name. Do you know anything about it? I haven't gotten to like dig in. Okay. I can't wait, Kat. I'm going to be one of your first reviews. You're so welcome. Congrats. Welcome to the AuthorTube family. We'll take care of you. Occasionally we'll say some naughty things, but only at the tail end of the live stream. I love all of you. You're wonderful. Thank you, Aphrodite, for doing this. You are
Thank you.
I love you.
I can't believe that you wanted to do this. This makes me feel so good.
Yes, completely. This is wonderful. Lots of people are going to take away some things from it that will be helpful. And if nothing else, they are now introduced to the incomparable Aphrodite Lee.
The tongue-tied. I'm sorry I'm so tongue-tied.
No problem. I love you all. Thank you all for coming out and playing with us. We are going to see you all real soon. And take it easy. Stay healthy and well.
Bye, everybody.